A group of American soldiers was watching a small film when suddenly, one of them noticed something unusual. To his shock, the woman in the video turned out to be his wife. He couldn't believe it. While he was serving on the front lines, his wife was secretly involved with someone else back home. Furious, he stormed out, shouting that they would regret it. After he left, one of the soldiers, known for his carefree attitude, suggested watching it again, saying it wasn't a big deal since the woman wasn't his wife anyway. But he didn't realize that his own reckoning was just around the corner. One day, he called his girlfriend, only to hear her breathing heavily on the other end, claiming she was working out. Moments later, she coldly broke up with him and hung up the phone. Realizing he had just been dumped, he felt crushed. To forget the pain, he stole a few beers from his officer, planning to throw a wild party with his buddies. But while he was celebrating, the rookie soldier covering his shift was roasting sausages when a piece of cloth accidentally caught fire. Right beside it was a crate of signal flares. In seconds, chaos erupted. Everyone thought they were under enemy attack, so they grabbed their weapons and rushed out, only to realize it was just a false alarm. Although the incident caused no real damage, the consequences for him were severe. The next day, he was demoted and punished with one of the worst tasks imaginable, burning the camp's waste. From then on, he became the laughingstock of the entire unit. Humiliated and pushed to the edge, he later confronted the rookie who had taken his shift that night. Pointing his weapon at him, he suddenly handed it over and ordered the rookie to pull the trigger on him. The young soldier froze in fear, unable to move. But the truth was, his breakdown wasn't only about the demotion or the punishment. He had once been one of the best snipers in the unit. He loved the feeling of hitting a target from miles away and longed for real combat. But day after day, all they did was train. Then, about a year earlier, the Gulf War broke out. He followed his unit to Iraq, and at first, he was excited. But instead of being sent to the front lines, he and his team were stationed in the middle of a deserted wasteland. Life there was monotonous, endless shooting drills and exhausting desert patrols. Out of boredom, sometimes the soldiers caught scorpions and made them fight, just to break the routine. One day, while lying in trenches they had dug themselves, the enemy suddenly launched a surprise attack. Chaos broke out as everyone ran for cover. But he froze, unable to move, paralyzed with fear. The same soldier who once longed for battle was now so terrified that after the bombing ended, he realized he had even wet himself. Determined to strike back, the Americans launched a counterattack. But when they reached the enemy camp, it was already in ruins, bombed earlier by airstrikes. At that moment, thick smoke rose in the distance. The enemy had set the oil fields ablaze during their retreat, ensuring the Americans would gain nothing. He was soon given a secret mission, to assassinate an enemy commander. Through his sniper scope, he had the target in his sights. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, orders suddenly came through to abort. Moments later, his officer rushed in, explaining that airstrikes were on the way. There was no need to blow their cover. He felt crushed. Since the war had begun, he hadn't fired a single shot. His teammates begged to complete the mission, hoping to prove themselves, but the officer firmly refused. Soon, American warplanes roared overhead, reducing everything to rubble. He stared blankly at the destruction, while his teammate broke down in tears. After the mission, they began the long walk back to camp. As they neared the base, a gunshot echoed in the distance. Thinking it was an enemy counterattack, they prepared for battle and crawled up a ridge. To their surprise, it was just their comrades celebrating around a bonfire. They were throwing a party to mark the Gulf War's victory. The officer encouraged everyone to join in and be happy, but he couldn't bring himself to smile. To a sniper of his skill, going through an entire war without firing a single bullet was the greatest humiliation. Many of the other soldiers felt the same way. To vent their frustration, they raised their rifles and fired into the night sky, as if that could erase the emptiness inside. By February 1991, the Gulf War finally ended. The soldiers returned home as heroes, greeted with cheers from the public. But deep down, he knew he had done nothing. Life after the military was even harder. Some ended up working in supermarkets as laborers, barely making ends meet. Others drowned their days in bars, lost in alcohol. Without the structure of war, they had no direction. Few ever found real success. Perhaps that is the true wound left by war, scars not on the battlefield, but on the lives of those who return.